Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. And today, absolutely delighted to join by Mark Tibbs. How are you doing, mate?
Lovely, Tom. Not too bad, mate. Yourself? You're good?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Busy time of the year, so I appreciate you coming on this evening and giving up a little bit of your time.
My pleasure. That's my pleasure.
And how's the back? I know when I spoke to you just about a week ago, you was having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But how you doing now with it, all right?
Yeah, do you know what? I'll be honest with you, last Monday, I was doing a little maintainer workout myself, and I was doing a leg press, and a seated leg press, and it was quite deep. It was my last set, and I had my headphones on, and all of a sudden I had a spasm in the top of my right glute, and a spasm. I knew what it was, and I had to press it to get it off me. I had no one around me. I felt lost. But I got it off me. By getting it off, I think by pushing it off me, I thought I ripped myself off, but I can't believe only today. Well, I've done pads yesterday for the first time, but only today I thought I can't believe how quickly I'm healed, sort of thing. So yeah. Praise God.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're back on the mend. I used to train with a bloke actually, and he used to lift like incredibly heavy weights, like 50k dumbbells, and like even to pass them to him, I was like, mate, you're just gonna have to take it. And there's been times where I've been in the gym and you're like trying to get that last set out and you just can't, and no one's around, and you just, it goes all wrong.
Well, this actually weren't that heavy. It was only like a little maintainer what I do, but I never warmed up. I was chatting to someone for 10 minutes before, which I normally warm up. But I was chatting to someone, rushed straight into it. Biggest mistake. That's what I encourage all my clients to warm up. Yeah. I did the opposite.
I was just going to say, let's hope none of your fighters hear this, because they're, I think they're reminded of that, mate. But talking about your fighters, I think there's only one place to start, really. Johnny Fisher, the Romford Bull, the most popular man in Essex at the moment. We all know what he did at the end of last month at the O2. Absolutely incredible performance. He created an incredible atmosphere. What was it like being in his corner that night?
He's been a pleasure to train, and he's wonderful in the corner. I mean, he puts a lot of pressure on himself in keeping his fans happy, and puts himself under pressure, and he handles it very, very well. And all credit to him. He's a credit to work with, and he responds to instructions. He's a very, very good prospect considering the limited pedigree. Yeah, he's gonna go a long way. Johnny's gonna go a long way for sure.
It seems like for such a young man, when you see him do the interviews and talk on the zone, etc., he seems like he's got such a wise head on such young shoulders. And I was going to ask you about the training, because it seems like if there's anyone you'd want to train, then it would be Johnny Fisher.
Absolutely, he's got something about him which is pretty rare, because he's just intelligent. He's a good athlete. He's a natural athlete, so you're off to a good start straight away. And to respond to instructions and adjustments, he gets it. So yeah, he's a thumbs up for me as a boxing coach to work with, and he can punch and he's fast. He just needs refining and experience, and he's got people around him that are prepared to put in the time and nurture him and bring him along. So yeah,
I saw an interview actually where he was, I think he was talking to Boxing Social actually, and he was talking a lot about working on refining his skills and not sort of getting too carried away. But one thing he did say when he was talking about yourself was that, you taught him that he just needs to relax, calm down. He's not got to try and knock everyone out in the first 30 seconds. Sometimes you might have to go a few rounds.
Absolutely. He picked up on that straight away as it happens. And, he's got to digest what's in front of him, stay switched on, and his readability with experience will just grow. Will just grow, and that's what it's all about: reading what's in front of you, manipulating and reading, and setting. And people say setting traps up or setting your work up. He's got to learn all them things, and that comes with being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, from watching him on telly, you know, from being, it's funny because when you see him out of the ring, he's an absolute gentleman. But it's almost
Yeah.
like when he gets in the ring, he's an absolute animal. Now on telly, he looks incredibly powerful, but when you're actually in his corner, how hard does he hit?
He's very, very hard. He's a very fast, sharp shooter. Very, very fast. He's got we're working on being more accurate. You know, more accurate, so to speak. So instead of rushing his work, but when he lets off, we've got to place him really, really well. You know, not waste nothing. So that's my job to encourage him, to educate him on not wasting shots and dissecting what's in front of him. And if he has to go on the back foot, we can do the same on the back foot. That's what we try and do. We're trying to we want him to, you know, break someone down on the front foot, break someone down on the back foot, and sometimes you've got to stand with them and block and counter, etc. And but he's very, very strong. You mentioned his strength, and I invited him to a training camp out in Fuerteventura. I was out there with Billy Joe Saunders, and he come along. And most of Billy Joe's other team, his nutritionist, Greg Marriott, has got a vastly experience in weight training himself. And you know, I don't encourage my fighters to weight train, but there's times when they have days off, and it's nice to, you know, lift and push a few certain weights, etc. And Greg Marriott was he was taken back by how strong he was, and soon as my ears pricked up with that, because I weren't really working with, I was working with Johnny, but in my spare time I was, you know, bringing him along for his fights back in the UK. I couldn't join him back then. But no, he's very, very strong, got plenty of energy and strong. So that's a big asset for him. And but so my job's to encourage and teach him in his boxing side of it, boxing and outfoxing, and he'll never lose that Romford bull about him. That'll always be with him, but he'll be more refined and tuned, if you know what I mean. That's what I want to do with him. And obviously he's got a great jab. It's not where it should be, and that'll be his best weapon of choice, you know, in his mid-career, even now, you know. So it's I want to develop that jab so he can snap it out and break him down, and use it as a tool to blind people to get that big right hand off, because he's very, 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 very hard hitter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible to think that he's only 4-0, and the amount of tickets he sells out of his hand. I think it's like 1,300 tickets. The atmosphere he creates, I don't think I've seen anything like it since probably Anthony Joshua. And you know, he come off the back of winning the Olympics, so you know, fair play to him. He's making noise. But I know, you know, naturally you want to take him one step at a time. So when he sort of said about fighting Otto Wallin after Dillian Whyte pulled out, what was you thinking?
Well, do you know, I heard about it. I was on the road coming back from another gym up in Suffolk. Took someone there sparring, one of my other prospects, and I drove back, and Johnny's manager filled me in. SJM filled me in on the news. He says, "Mark, he wants to fight Otto Wallin," but it kind of went over my head, sort of thing. But that's a typical Johnny Fisher. That's where his heart is. He really, really would. He would have done. He didn't want to let his fans down, and he really, really meant that. He really, really meant that. And when his manager and myself, we said, "Listen, hold up here. You know, the numbers, Otto Wallin, you know, the numbers, your different scales of your careers." But he was, you know, a little bit green in that department, but he really, really meant that. He didn't want to let his fans down. So that's a good side as well. It's a good side about him. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose being a fighter, you know, most fighters would probably say yes to most people. But I suppose it's the team that you surround yourself with that are there to direct you and make sure you're taking the right fights at the right time. How far can he go? I know it's early days, you know, he's 4-0, but you know, how far?
Well, you know, I like to think with his ingredients, what he's got, he can go all the very way to the very top. But it's something you've got to be realistic about, and you've got to tick the boxes as you go along. I'm very confident in 7, 8 fights time that we can start working on the domestic scene. you know, and taking control of the domestic scene. So, you know, and if we can win the British title, then the world's your oyster. So that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Yes, it's a deep division. Personally, I'd love to see him fight Babbage. I think that would be a brilliant little tear up. But I'll let you sort all that out. Obviously, his fights. Talking about, you know, obviously the heavyweight division, I know it's been well documented that he's had a limited amateur career. So how valuable has it been for Johnny to spar the likes of Joe Joyce, Tyson Fury?
It's an incredible experience for Johnny. It's something that we will probably do again. So because of the relationships they've got, it's really good between them. But you know, Joe Joyce, I was there with Joe Joyce sparring. He done fantastically well. Joe worked with him really well, and he done wonders against Joe. And but you know, Joe showed his experience as well. But it was very good for Johnny, and Johnny sparred with Joe before when I haven't been there, and then people around him informs me, Joe himself, that you know Johnny's much better this time. So we're moving in the right direction, and I'm sure Tyson Fury had a lot to say for Johnny, and that's all experience. Being in Tyson Fury's company, he comes out with stories, and his experience. You know, he's the best fighter in the world right now, Tyson Fury. So, and he's a gentleman to work with, and so you can't ask for more. I mean, he's not like he's not a liberty taker or nothing like that, and so that's just a thumbs up for if you can get that work. It's brilliant for Johnny, that is.
Yeah, he seems like he's just like a sponge, you know, soaking everything up. And like you say, to be in Tyson Fury's company, you know, arguably, you know, probably go down as one of the best fighters in history. So that's only got to be like an invaluable lesson for him.
Of course it is. Yeah, for sure.
Moving away from Johnny Fisher, looking at your stable, obviously John Hedges, he had a good night as well.
Yeah, John was a couple of months back. We went to Austria. He had a fight out there, and he done well. He done well. I was impressed with him. He ticked boxes for myself as a coach, but after that trip to Austria, I said to myself, there's other things we had to do in the gym, and we did them. And I promised him, I said to him, you're going to be twice the fighter time we fight next. And he fought on Johnny's fight, and he just, you know, we keep talking about his man strength, but I says, look, I don't want to hear that word anymore, because you're strong as a bull. He's strong, he's wiry, he's cagey, and he's cute, and it's just the experience with him. And if he's still got the hunger for this boxing game, in 6 years' time, he's going to be a big star. And because of that cuteness and that cuteness, and he's a slick fighter. And on the inside, when I said to him, "You're going to be the next Tyson Fury," they watched that Tyson Fury fight with Wilder. Now he done in every department with Wilder. If he tied him up, he nicked stuff on the inside. He roughed him and he took it to him. And I really believe young John Hedges can fight like that. And I told him that. And in the gymnasium, he's doing it. He's doing that. And so I'm really proud of young John for his confidence rose since the Austria trip. And he's coming along really nice. And he's enjoying training, and hope he gets out soon as well.
Yeah, no, he looks like a good prospect. I was going to say, all these young fighters in the gym, they must keep you on your toes.
They do. They keep me young, I know that. But we've got another fighter there, Tommy Fletcher. He's also a good punt. He's a good prospect, very good prospect, and they all work very well together. I normally, when they've got fight dates, I break them up a little bit because they've all got different sparring and etc. But when we're ticking over the gym, I keep them three together because they work well together. And And actually, Johnny Hedges and Tommy Fletcher, I kept them apart for a while. I kept them apart because Tommy joined and Johnny Hedges was already in the camp. Tommy come on board, and he was a bit of a big puncher, and I like to protect the fighters and want to build rapport between them. But one day I walked in the gym and I went to myself, right, it's quiet in the gym, as in there's no parents in the gym, it's just us. I went, get your kit, because I've done body sparring with him, because he's a bit of a puncher, Tommy. He can punch, and he's got good timing as well. So I let them build some rapport amongst themselves, and then once I walked in the gym, I was a little bit of the ump. I had the ump about something, and I went, right, spar proper today, full out sparring. Anyway, I ain't gonna mess about today. I went, get your head guards on, your gum shields in. And it was like world-class sparring. It was unbelievable. And it was just beautiful to watch. They was outwitting each other. They weren't smashing each other to bits, but they weren't pussyfooting about either. And I think they done about 6 rounds, and they had respect against one another. And I thought to myself, I like that, but I won't overdo it. I won't do it too much, because I like to bring in sparring. Won't do that too much, but I can't wait to do that again. That was on the Monday. I didn't let them do it on the Wednesday, but on the Friday I went, right, boys, we can do that again. And I wondered if it would be the same as it was the first time, and it was exactly the same. It was wonderful. And the respect they got between them, all my boys in the camp, is wonderful. Yeah, it's good. I've got Harvey Horn, flyweight, European flyweight champion. He's fighting on Thursday night. Yeah.
How good is it to have multiple people in the gym, though, that are at that level? Because it must be quite taxing and time consuming, having to find other gyms and other, opponents that your guys can spar with. So when you can do it all in house, that must be quite convenient in terms of a coaching perspective.
Well, it's handy when they're ticking over, sort of thing, because doing pads, hitting bags, and doing technical stuff. The real thing is contact sparring. But when we got dates for the boys, we bring in sparring, or we go out to spar. You know what I mean? So we're trying to mix it up the best we can, and so it doesn't become mundane and monotonous. But it's easy. I've done this for a long while. I've got a lot of contacts, and I like to get out of the gym from time to time and take them sparring. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, we'd hopefully one day we'll come to the gym and do a few face-to-face interviews, but it seems like an absolute sort of buzzing gym to be around.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime, Tom. Anytime.
Thank you very much. Well, again, we are hoping to come at some point. But coming away from the stable, obviously we spoke a lot about Johnny Fisher as well and how well he's doing. We hear a lot, Mark, about fighters, talking about going away and how difficult it can be for them leaving their family behind. But, that's the same for you as well. I know you were away for the Billy Joe camp. How difficult is it for you? Because I know you've got a young son. I heard you talking about him in another interview. I think it was with Fred Fights Talking. You've done an interview. So for yourself, how difficult is that? Because obviously you've gone away for months at a time.
Yeah, well, you get prepared for it. The coach and a trainer, you build rapport with your fighter, yeah, and you've got plans for that fighter, and the plans is the winning and the camps, and you want to look after them and take care of them. And at the end of the day, it's a monetary, it's a business. So it is a business, and it is difficult to leave your family, but it's all planned. You have to plan it like anything else, and you don't just up and go. Everything's planned, strategically planned. So and what we've it ain't the same with them having you. My family. I took my family, as in my son and my missus, when they was a baby. I took them on a few camps with me because he was just born, sort of thing, and we got on with it. But I had the opportunity to take my son and my wife to camps again. But when they get older and they're going to school, they've got a life. You've got to continue. You just got to crack on. It's my job, and you know, as heartbreaking as it is, it's not forever, and it's a job. Yeah, so you just gotta, you know, you've got to take the rough with the smooth if you want results.
Would you? Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you say, it's part and parcel of the job. Would you want your son to box? Obviously, he's in the right hands if he did decide to.
Do you know what? The reason why I'm finding it hard to answer that is because at the moment he's 6-year-old. He doesn't show no interest whatsoever. And when I was 6-year-old, I was at Repton Boxing Club in Hackney, and as his age at the nursery group. But at the moment, my son ain't showing no interest. But if he showed interest and he had something, and of course I wouldn't hold it back, but I wouldn't push him either, because you know I've seen pushy fathers, and I've had one myself, so to speak. Who's that? I'm sorry. Are you still there, Tom?
I'm still here, mate. Yeah.
Tom, I've just got to. I'm going to delete this call.
Okay. No. Yeah, don't worry. It's fine.
We come back. Yeah, we're
good. Yeah, we're all good. Yeah, sorry, you was talking about your sort of pushy parents and.
Yeah, I've been around and seen it. You know, pushy parents and that, and I don't think I'd be like one of them. I like not to think, so I like to learn by me, you know, by what I've seen around me. But you know, I support my son. I like to say it. I like to think I support my son in anything he did, and. But it'd have to be very, very special for me to get behind him and push him in, you know what I mean? So boxing is a tough business, and it's really tough. And I can't tell you how tough it is. And, you know, I'm sure all businesses are the same. Like any business, it's competition. But, you know, it's something that I've done for years and years and years, and I'm accustomed to it. And personally, it's all I bloody well know.
Good job you're good at it then, mate. But I think, yeah, like you say, when you're doing any sport trying to get to the elite level, it's hard. It takes a lot of dedication, and you've got to have a good family support. But yeah, when you're boxing and the opponent's objective is to knock you unconscious, you know, it's a different level altogether.
Absolutely. I mean, amateur boxing it was great for me. It was my schooling. I went around Europe, all over the country, and as a professional, I had a good career. Never boxed for any titles, but I enjoyed my boxing, and it was very, very good for me. But through my experiences, what I should have done, what I could have done, why I didn't do, and why I did what I did, I can now give off to the guys that I train now. So it's been good for me in that way, if you know what I mean, Tom.
Yeah, no, I often say to people, you know, we've had people on the channel that have gone through difficult times, and I suppose when you relate it to your boxing, you know, you've been around the block, you've learned a lot of things along the way. So if there weren't people like yourself that have been there and maybe sort of know how to direct people not to make mistakes or go down the wrong path, then without people like yourself, then who can guide them in the right way, if that makes sense?
Of course. It's really, really, you know, because these are young men in front of me, and I've been where they've been, and I've not only been where they've been, I've lived it through my father's experience as well. So I'm lucky in that sense, you know. I've lived my own journey, but I've lived this journey as well. So
I was going to ask you, how much does your dad still get involved with? You know, he's quite iconic person in the world of boxing and in the sport in general as well. How much is he involved?
He's what it was. He's always been involved, or I've been involved with him in boxing, and then obviously he's come up to retirement sort of thing, but he still works the cuts for big guys in British boxing, and he's always been around my camp and helped me out, and as I've become a trainer. But when the lockdown came, obviously he wasn't allowed in and around the boxing because of his age. But since it's all opened up again, and he's been at my gym, and he started. I said, Dad, come up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if you can help me out. Just want you to be there, experience words of wisdom from time to time, but he's up there Monday to Friday. You can't get enough. He just phoned me just now. Just phoned me just now.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I've seen your dad in a couple of the post-fight interviews where people have been asking you questions and your dad's been with you. But yeah, I suppose for the young lads coming through, for your dad to be around and that knowledge that he's got, that's only got to be, you know, well, just incredibly valuable for the young fighters.
It is, Tom. He don't say too much, but when he talks boxing, it's lovely. It's like, it really is. Even for myself, he simplifies things, and he's very honest. He's very honest with my boys, and that's how I'm, man. That's how I've been. I guess I take after him, you know, and you know where you are when you're honest with your boys.
Yeah, I imagine it's that sort of situation where he talks, everyone just listens.
Yeah. No, he don't talk a lot, but when he talks, it makes sense. Yeah.
That's it, worth listening to. Now, something very important I need to just run by you. I heard Eddie Hearn talking about getting Johnny out on the road, you know, basically going on tour. And you were saying something about Vegas. Apparently there's like only 3 reasons why you can get away with going. 1, if it's for your 40th or 50th birthday, a stag do, or it's a Johnny Fisher fight. So I was just going to put it out there. If you need anyone to come and hold your bags or move your equipment about, obviously I've just put my name out there for you, mate.
I'll put your number.
Before we let you go, I've got a few questions. Now, normally I do have a co-host on here with me, Shane. Unfortunately, he contracted the old coronavirus on Friday, and he's not feeling too well. So we normally be a couple of us, but he's given me a couple of questions, and I've got a couple just to finish up with. That's all right.
No problem.
Okay, can you hear me?
Gotcha, Tom.
Perfect. So we've got a big domestic fight coming up on the 11th of December, Eubank against Williams. I love this fight. I think it's going to be not fight of the year, but it could push it. I'd just like to get your opinion on that and how you see that one going.
Yeah, I do like that fight. I must say, it's that's the only fight that I'm interested in of Eubank's fight of late, to tell you the truth. And it'd be interesting to see what Williams is all about. And it's about right. It's really about right. It's a 50-50 fight. I can't pick a winner, to tell you the truth, Tom. I really can't pick a winner. And I think it's a fight where we can gauge the pair of them. Where are they? What are they made of? What they're all about? And like middle.
Yeah, I think as well, you know, with Eubank now almost being like the face of Sky Sports, it's a massive fight, not just for his, you know, his boxing career, but just for Sky as well, because, you know, we all know that Eddie Hearn took his stable to DAZN, which, you know, has been a good thing for in a way, because we've spoken to a few fighters that have got TV deals that, you know, if that hadn't happened, maybe not. But yeah, no, I think it's a massive fight, and
great fight.
One I'm looking forward to. It's just Conor Ben's fighting on the same night, isn't he? So I'll have the old Sky on and BT on, no doubt.
Right. Sky and DAZN.
Sorry, Sky and DAZN. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thanks for your prediction on that one. These are a couple of questions again from Shane that couldn't be here tonight. He basically wanted to ask you, you know, you've been in boxing for a long time, and he was just asking how have you seen it sort of evolve over the years, and in terms of like the training methods?
Training methods, how they evolved over the years.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm caught between the old school and the new school, you know, and I understand the new school, but you really have got to. For me, this is what I do. For instance, there's certain drills that you can do for people that are flat-footed, and if you think as a trainer, well, you'd be a better fighter with mobile feet, then there's drills. There's certain things that we can do, or conditioners can do. They call themselves strength and conditioners, and certain things you can do to get their feet moving. And you don't take away them planting, but you add stuff to them. So yeah, so the sports science has moved on, and I'm all for it. And it really has moved on. My father, in fact, was in the gym with me recently, and he used to puff and blow and moan what we do in the gym, because, you know, we've moved on so much.
Yeah.
We've moved on so much. But I know what works. I really know, and I really believe in certain stuff. It don't work for everybody, but you as a trainer have to identify and bespoke what's good for that particular fighter. And I've got 4 or 5, 6 fighters in my gym right now, and I don't do when they've got their opponents in, and I train them individually. There's certain things I do with Johnny Fisher, conditioning wise, that I wouldn't do with Tommy Fletcher or Harvey Horn, and that's what you should do as a coach if you want the best out of your fighter.
Yeah, no.
But going back to the question, yes, I'm all for the sports science, and it works. I've seen it work for myself, but you can't get too excited about it.
Yeah, and I saw a Tyson Fury once come out and say something about the way he looked. You know, when you've got like Anthony Joshua, who's, you know, chiseled, he looks $1 million, and then you've got Tyson Fury, obviously incredible athlete, but, you know, he doesn't look, you know, as good as Joshua. But, you know, again, you know, he's practically not, well, I know everyone's beatable, but at the minute he's on a different level.
Absolutely, Tyson Fury's the man. And listen, I know as a boxing man that, you know, he's just his boxing IQ and his experience because of what he's been around and how he's developed, and he's God-given talent as well. So you can't just train someone up to be a Tyson Fury, or Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury, and there's never going to be another one like him. And same as Muhammad Ali and Anthony Joshua, etc. So horses for courses, and there's levels. Yeah, I agree.
Can you see anyone beating Fury? I know that there's talk about Whyte getting the fight. I know there's a little bit of controversy around that in a minute because of the court case, etc. But and there's talk about him fighting Usyk. If Fury was to fight Usyk, what way would you see that going?
Fury wins. He's too big. Fury would have to have a really, mind you, saying that, I was going to say he'd have to have a really bad day at the office, but he wouldn't have a bad day because, you know, trainers and his people around him, if anything was not right, they'd have to pull it until he got right. But the thing is, no, I don't see at the moment anyone out there beating Tyson Fury. Not heavyweights, no, at the minute.
Yeah, it seems like as well he rises to the occasion. You know, when the pressure's on and he's got to deliver, you know, he almost just sort of he goes through the gears and he performs when he needs to.
Yeah, for sure. Talking
about someone that you've worked with closely for many years. I know not now, but with Dillian Whyte. Shane was asking. He seems like, you know, he's a well-rounded fighter. Obviously, a lot of that down to yourself and the work you've done with him over the years. He was talking about if he does get the Fury fight, what would he need to work on to give himself the best chance of getting a result?
Well, Dillian would need to rough him up, get on the inside. You know, he would need to get on his chest, get around that body. He wouldn't want to stand on the outside, fight him on the outside, because you'd probably get his head boxed off. But difficult job against Fury. And but listen, Dillian can whack. He can whack, and he's got a good left hook, so it's not impossible. He's got a great mindset, a very good mindset. He's got a winning mindset and a fighting art. So he'd always be in the fight. But so has Tyson Fury, and he's got them, you know, he's tall, he's awkward, and he can box. He's a very, very good boxer, good mover. And it would be a difficult fight for Dillian, but nothing's impossible with the ingredients they've got, as in hearts and minds.
Yeah.
But it would be a favourite, Fury, though. He would be a favourite, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, both of them seem, you know, incredibly mentally strong. I hope we do see it, because it would be a brilliant fight to see happen next year. Talking about great fighters, you know, you were up close and personal with Canelo not that long ago, obviously in Billy Joe's corner. Did you, you know, when you was there watching him fight, what stood out to you that sort of set him apart from the rest?
Well, I've see them elite fighters. What sets them apart from the rest is their their mind. It's their winning streak in their mind, and it's the way they don't cut corners. They work at their craft for years and years and years, and they hold it. They hold it. They're up the top, and they hold their position, and only the greats can do that. And it's not something that you can train or put in them. It is in them. It is in their bones. So it's a great, and that's why he's pound for pound great, because he's got that. He's been around, experienced since he's been a professional since he's 15-year-old, and he's had the right handlers to bring him along. And since he fought Floyd Mayweather, he went up a notch after that. When he got beat against Mayweather, because he learned from that loss. You know what I mean? And he learned from that loss. But he fancied that fight, and he realised he weren't up to scratch. But he went away, licked his wounds, come back again. Now he's pound for pound great, and he looks like going through the light heavies. And he's talking about fighting cruiserweight, which I'm not too sure about that, but it depends who's up there.
Yeah, it seems like sometimes it's not always a bad thing to take a loss earlier in your career. You know, it sort of resets you and makes you think about the things that you need to change. I was going to ask you about if he goes up again, how many times can he go up? I think he's done it 5 times already, multiple weight world champion. Can you see him performing at weight above?
He's a very, very short. He's not very short. He's not very short. He's shorter than me. I'm 5'10", 5'11". He's shorter than me, but obviously he's a bit of a machine at his weight. I much prefer to see him clean up at the light heavies. Some good light heavies there coming through, and I think we'll give him a good fight. Would give him Benavides, I believe, would give him a good fight. Probably couple more fights on, but it's quite a hard punch. There's a couple of fighters out there, light heavies. I'm not too interested in this cruiserweight fight he's looking at, and I'm not too sure who the opponent is. But I think he got beat by Tony Bellew quite a while back, and all. So that just turns me off of that fight. But it's probably about being going through the weights for him at this stage. So I understand that, but. No, Canelo's a phenomenal man, phenomenal fighter, great attitude. You love his attitude.
I think going back to what you were saying a few moments ago, it just shows you his mental strength. He could pack up now. He's done everything he needs to do, go down as an all-time great, but his willingness to continue fighting, continue to sort of try and win titles at different weight categories. It's quite incredible, really. And just finishing off, Mark. Shane was just wanted to ask you if you could just choose 3 things that you want to see in a fighter that could get them to the top. If you only could choose 3, what would those 3 things be?
Three ingredients.
Yeah, so whatever you think that may be. I know there's obviously a lot more, but putting you on the spot a little bit, I suppose. But that was his question.
Right, 3 things I liked in a fighter is a big heart, acute IQ, and a big heart, acute IQ, and discipline.
So some like psychological side of this of it almost.
Well, psychological, but clever.
Yeah,
clever, smart, cute brain, fighting brain, boxing brain, a big heart. But if you've got a big heart, you could be a little bit stupid upstairs. But a big heart and a cute brain, you know when to stand and trade. You know when to box and outfox. You know when to have a rest, and that all comes with experience. And you can read that other guy when it's time to put the pressure on, when it's time to get behind the jab and soften him up more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
so
that takes discipline.
Yeah, almost like sort of like a calculated risk almost.
Absolutely.
And just finally, I keep saying just finally, but I just wanted to ask you, do you think we'll see Billy Joe fight again?
I personally don't. But you know, listen, money talks, and money talks. So we'll see. But he's been a phenomenal talent over the years, and I think he could have been better. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Time will tell.
Maybe if Eubank does a number on Williams and calls him out, maybe that might sort of motivate him to want to fight again. No, I know it must be tough for these fighters. Obviously, earn lots of money, fighting all around the world on big stages in front of thousands of people. So it must take a lot sometimes to get you out of bed in the morning and run miles and miles when you don't need to.
Yeah, well, it's something that when you've done it for years and years and years, and he's got what he's got, and he's got family around him, and the only motivation at the end of that is something personal or money. Yeah, so you're right there.
Well, like I say, time will tell them. But listen, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure getting you on the channel tonight. I know you're a busy man, so I am very grateful. And no, any time. It's a little bit difficult on here, isn't it? Because sometimes there can be a delay. But no, again, mate, we're very grateful, and hopefully catch up with you soon. And if any of your fighters want to jump on as well, let them know. And it would be a pleasure to speak to any of them.
I will inform the fighters tomorrow. They're all in tomorrow, so I'll let them know, and I'll hook you all up. I hook you all up for sure.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely brilliant. All right then, Mark. Well, I'll let you crack on, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, Tom. All the best, mate. Good luck. Thank you. See you soon.
Absolute pleasure. Top man. Thank you.